a quick video to show you swap out of a starter on a 5-liter 2000 Ford Explorer all-wheel drive. Okay, so let's see, you just saw me scoot in, and here's the oil pan. You can see the exhaust is going to the back of the truck, and here's where the starter is installed. Has only 2 bolts that hold it in, and I'll just kind of show you some of the condition. I mean, this car is not very rusty underneath, truck, whatever. See, I mean, it's in pretty good shape as far as rust goes, but in reading some forums, it appeared that the bolts were going to be problematic, but mine actually looked reasonably fine. The bottom one was not rusty at all, just had a coat of oil on it. But nevertheless, it was still pretty difficult to get them off. And the reason is, let me back up, is this starter protrudes out a good ways, and you just don't have a lot of room up there to get extensions, ratchets, and everything like that. So let me show you the starter, tell you what I did. Okay, so here's the old one up top, obviously, and the new one on the bottom. I had sprayed the bolts a week earlier with a lot of this stuff, hoping it would work. The bottom bolt, I rounded it off, but on the first try with a bolt extractor, which is one of these things, if you can see that package. So you just put this thing on there and it grips it, and had to do that with a 19. So the 19 fits around it, and then that thing just grips like crazy, and it popped off right away, just first try. All that's great. I thought, oh, this not going to be a problem at all, because I was sure I could figure out how to get this on the upper bolt, which is okay. So the problem with the upper bolt is you can't get anything big on the head of the thing, because it sits in here like this, and there's just no room because of this thing. So I don't know, maybe you could break that off. I think there's no way to really remove it. There's a couple screws on the bottom somewhere, but there's no way to get that thing off that I can tell while it's still connected to the car. So you know, I tried all kinds of things. I had you know, deep socket, and what was interesting is this is a 13, I believe, but a 1/2 inch actually fit it more tightly. So just a little bit, obviously, but I tried the 1/2 inch. You just couldn't get enough torque on it. I ended up using a 3/4 ratchet and this extension, and I believe this. And that actually worked pretty well. I was able to use an open-ended wrench to get more torque on this thing, like a cheater. And I got a pretty good bit on it, and was able to hold it onto the head pretty well. But it just wouldn't pop loose before the nut rounded, the bolt head rounded. So then I was faced with, I just got the Dremel tool out right away after reading all this. So ended up just cutting it off, and you can see a little bit where the Dremel tool went in there. The core charge was $12, so I won't be getting that back, but that's okay. So I mean, it wasn't too bad getting it out, and of course going in should be far easier. The only difference is they want this to be crimped on, so I'll need to cut the existing wire, crimp this, and then put this heat shrink on there. But going in should be a cinch compared to coming out, and that's about how it goes. Just one more view of all the stuff that I used here. I used this to actually pop the head off after I cut it. It got it almost all the way through and was able to pop it off with that. Tried all these other, wrenches on there and just really couldn't get anything to work. This is way too long. You don't need anything that long. Let's see. Well, this is what I got the lower bolt off with. Had a 1/2 inch and a big long handle there to get lots of torque on it. So that worked out fine. What do I use this for? I use this to break off one of these bolts so I can get the wire off. Those things are just really rusted as well. So that's what I use that for. And that pretty much sums it up. Let's take a look at this starter from a 5-liter V8 Explorer. So you have this back panel, which sits like that. I've already taken it apart and cleaned it up quite a bit. Take these 2 long screws out and these 2 short screws. This pops off. You have to take this off. It's secured to that right there. You take that off, and then the whole motor assembly will come out. This is the back where the brushes are. You see there's 4 brushes. Let me take this piece off. So you see the brushes in there. One of them is a lot shorter than the others. That might have been, maybe that one wasn't making contact on the back side of that motor. And maybe that's why it quit working, although it was intermittent. Okay, so we get this off. Let's see. This piece will stay connected to here, but I already have it out. Let me just pull this out. This kind of goes a little end plate there. Get that end plate off. So here's the inside of the motor. It's pretty cool. Here's the back side. Got your magnets around there. So there's the inside of the motor. Get this out of here. Clean that up. So that's pretty heavy. That's something Carolina Gamecock fans might throw out of the stands at football games. Whew, that'd do some damage. Watch out for that. Okay, so now what you have is this motor back here moves these 2 forks. Moves it that way. And here's the forks right here. Moving on. Okay, now when those 2 forks move, it shoves this thing forward. So this is sitting about right here. It's normally like this. When you crank, the first thing this motor does is move those forks, which engages this gear into the transmission and will turn the motor over. What's really cool is the backside of this thing where it gets the mechanical leverage. Of course, all the mechanical parts on this thing are working beautifully. Testament to the fine mechanical engineering skills from the engineers, and the failure is bound to be electrical in nature. But so what happens is that motor shaft right there engages right in the middle of this, and we'll turn it. Then that turns that gear right there, and that's how your starter works. Let's see if I'm leaving anything out. I think that's it. So we got the fork goes, and then right after that, juice will come to the back of this thing and make the motor turn. And I don't know if it goes until you turn the key off or if it just goes for a certain amount of time. Anyway, that's a Ford Explorer 5-liter. And this one is 21 years old, roughly, about 150,000 miles.